What I am about to show you has been called many names, such as diaper butt, poopy pants, but I prefer to go by its proper name, the drop crotch, and there's perhaps no one who has a better ownership over the concept of the drop crotch than, of course, Rick Owens. So today, on this episode of Low Luxury Grails, we are going to take a look at a real pair of Rick Owens drop crotch jogger pants, and we're going to look a bit at Rick Owens himself and how he came up with this concept, where it started, and how it has grown so exponentially. This really is one of the most popular silhouettes of the past 10 years. We're also going to take a look at these specific joggers, take a look at how they're made, how they fit, things like that, and at the end, we are going to see if we can get a fit off wearing these pants. I'm super excited, so let's check it out. Oh, and hey, before I forget, subscribe to my channel. If you're into this video, you'll probably be into a bunch of my other ones, so get into it. Rick Owens is often thought of as the Prince of Darkness within high fashion, and not without good reason. His color palette is unrelentingly gloomy, and his pieces have a distinct rock and roll aesthetic. One of his most iconic logos also bears a striking similarity to a pentagram. But that's not all he's about. Owens has also pushed countless forward-thinking silhouettes into the zeitgeist. He's been designing since 1994, and his star has only risen as time has gone on. Rick Owens' drop crotch pants have had a turbulent history, one that goes further back than Owens himself. It's one of the most controversial silhouettes of this century, and one of the most misunderstood by popular culture. Drop crotch pants first came into the mainstream around 2013, when Justin Bieber became an acolyte of the fit and was brutally roasted for it, although hindsight looks more kindly on his fashion choices, surprisingly. However, Rick Owens had been pioneering the silhouette for over a decade before young Justin decided to blast them out to the world. I found examples of Owens' drop crotch as early as his 2002 women's wear collection. It was a bit unrefined at the time, but between the silhouette and drawstrings, already had many of the hallmarks that are recognizable today. Owens has spoken about being bullied and insulted mercilessly as a child. He also speaks often about how his clothing is his own singular universe, tailor-made for him. I think these two things are inextricably linked. Instead of shying away from the things people said about him, he uses his clothes to amplify them. As Owens had countless homophobic slurs hurled at him, it's no coincidence that his signature pant style calls particular attention to his crotch. He's rubbing the world's face in it, and that's part of what makes it so irresistible. But that doesn't fully explain why the drop crotch has been so adopted by the tastemakers. Part of it certainly has to do with the symbiotic relationship between Owens and hip-hop culture. Thanks to style icons like Kanye West and A$AP Rocky, many of your average style-conscious urbanites found that it wasn't so much of a stretch to evolve from slouchy denim to drop-crotch pants. But while Owens is certainly influenced by street culture, there are other influences at work here as well. One of the biggest is certainly harem pants, which date back as far as Persia over 2,000 years ago. That style stayed persistently in vogue up through the 17 and 1800s, and was marked by substantial volume at the hips and crotch before tapering towards the ankles. Harem pants mostly left the fashion consciousness after the 1920s, aside from some popularity in the 60s and 70s, this time reinvented as loungewear. And then of course it was picked up in the 80s and 90s by street culture, most famously being worn by MC Hammer, to the point where they were known for a while as hammer pants. It should be noted, however, that I'm speaking primarily about America. Globally, harem pants have had a much longer life, and the silhouette even still has modern high fashion relevance, with brands like Comme des Garçons still finding use in their magnificent volume. However, imagine you're Rick Owens. On one side of you, you see these harem pants. On the other, you see the slouchy jeans and athleisure like sweatpants and joggers. Suddenly, an idea begins to take shape. Bring in the hips from the harem pants to be more fitted, but leave the volume in the crotch. Give it an elasticated waist and drawstrings for a sporty feel. Give it a fitted structure with an elasticated ankle, and suddenly you have a very powerful pair of pants indeed. And that's where we're left. A pair of pants that is at once heavy metal Satanist and hippie cultist, gothic and ethereal. It's no wonder that they took off and have had such a powerful life. So you can see right off the bat that even the regular crotch comes down quite a bit lower than a normal pair of pants or even pair of sweatpants or joggers. But then you also get this kind of extra triangle of fabric underneath, so the crotch takes up really over half of the entire length of the leg, which is crazy. And you can see that there is a closure here at the crotch with some nice kind of classic style old school metal buttons that will allow you to get in there if you need to. And this one was made in Italy. As you can see, it is the black colorway. And if you look at the fabrication there, it does have quite a bit of angora, and that falls somewhere in between, I'd say, cotton and cashmere, and gives it this really, really nice soft feel. And then down at the bottom there, you do get a kind of model number as well as the company information there. And at the back, you get not one, but two pockets at each cheek, as it were, to be a bit crass. And these are actually Velcro here. So now that we've checked out everything about these, I think it's time to try and pull a fit off. So I decided to go with a simple black and white color scheme with this because it just matches up well with those joggers, and it really fits with, I'd say, Rick Owens' visual style, which is the person we're paying homage to here. So I think that made a lot of sense. For a top, I went with an early ambush t-shirt. This is the Dark Forest Scorpion graphic t-shirt, a really cool kind of 80s pulp sci-fi fantasy graphic. So that one I love, and I think it goes really well with the joggers. And then we know that joggers just in general are great at accentuating the footwear, so it made a lot of sense to go with something kind of striking and flashy. And for that reason, I went with the Balenciaga Speed Trainers, both because they have that kind of eye-catching quality and because, again, that black and white fit really well with the look I was going for. And then finally, to layer, I wanted to go with something kind of extra and loud and big because a drop crotch silhouette really lends itself to something oversized and something that has a bit more volume up top. So I chose this really crazy faux fur Amiri hoodie. It's all black, again matching with the colors, and the volume was the perfect fit here. And I will just add, to go along with the whole Rick Owens style, this could be worn just without any top whatsoever, just the joggers and the hoodie. Although, of course, you really wouldn't go out like that. That would be more of a runway editorial type of fit. So that is everything you need to know about Rick Owens and his incredible drop crotch pants silhouette that he pretty much created. So with that, take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to this channel if you like it, like this video, and I'll see you next time.